Alright, let's dive into the idea of courage and being disliked. I knew the name, but I was thinking, courage to be disliked? Is it like, hang in there even if you get flamed? I thought it was just some overly positive encouragement that I didn't want to hear. But then I read about it, and it was incredibly interesting. Now I understand why it's so popular. There were so many surprising facts. First off, it sold over 2 million copies in Japan and 4.43 million worldwide, so I assumed it was a foreign thing. I thought it was the teachings of someone named Adler, written by that Adler person, right? Nope, it's not Adler's own writing. It's written by a Japanese counselor. The fact that someone Japanese wrote it and it's selling this well globally is amazing. I was like, wow, is it really this accepted? Oh, okay, so it's Japanese psychology about the courage to be disliked. Okay, I get it. But first, who even is this Adler guy? Turns out, Adler is considered one of the 3 giants of psychology. Wait, the ones I've heard of in psychology are Freud and Jung, right? You've heard of those two, right? Well, there's a number 3. This Adler guy is number 3. I didn't know. So, Adler, it turns out, had a psychology that makes modern humans much happier than even Freud or Jung. That's what the storyteller taught us. This storyteller writes from the unique perspective of a counselor. And what's more, this counselor's specialty was originally philosophy. So they blend Greek philosophy and Adlerian psychology so well when explaining things. So the reason it became even more popular than Adler's own work is because of this really good, easy-to-understand presentation by a Japanese counselor. So, what's the writing style like? This is what makes it interesting. I thought it would be full of technical terms and psychological jargon, but it's super easy to understand. It's in the form of a dialogue between a philosopher and a youth struggling with issues. When you hear philosopher, it sounds scary, but you don't go around thinking of someone as a philosopher, right? So it's basically a teacher with philosophical ideas and a troubled young person. It's a dialogue. We also have the example of the mentor and student from How Do You Live? What's great about this format is that when we readers hear philosophy or psychology, even if we are told this is how it is, we think that's a lie. We immediately doubt it. No way, it doesn't work that way. But the youth says all of that for us. No, that's not right. The youth will say, "Teacher, that's wrong." Sometimes they say terrible things like, "You're a demon." They reject everything. But the teacher calms them down and explains things skillfully. At first, it's funny because you empathize with the youth as you're reading. I see, that's right. That's weird. Teacher, that's too good to be true. It doesn't work that way. But as you understand more towards the end, you start to feel like the teacher. So, when the youth is saying, "Don't mess with me," you're thinking, "Hey, you're still at that level?" You're thinking, "Hey, listen to the teacher already. Just listen." It's so funny. I thought, wait, am I starting to understand? It's written in a way that makes it easy to read. It's a very rare thing, made by someone Japanese, that's becoming so popular worldwide. So, what does it talk about? About the content itself, it's not just some sad story about someone named Yuki being disliked. It's fundamentally about a universal way of thinking to live happily. It sounds too broad, right? What does that even mean? Well, the claim is really only 3 things. The whole point is to convey these 3 things. First, people can change. Really? That easily? Second, the world is simple. Huh? Simple? It's definitely complicated. Third, everyone can be happy. Yeah, I don't believe it. I absolutely don't believe it. Only a select few people can be happy, right? That's what I think. I want to doubt anyone who says everyone can be happy. Oh, it's a scam. That's what I thought when I first heard it. Oh, that sounds too good to be true. It's like extra sweet frosting, isn't it? I don't believe in that kind of sweetness. But if you really think about it, the feeling of denying that people can change, the world is simple, and everyone can be happy, if you think about it backwards. For me, I'll think about it backwards. People can change? No, they can't. The world isn't simple. It's difficult. No one can be happy. So, I'm sure I can't be happy in this world. It's like a depressing anime. Like, there's no way someone like me can be. It feels like that kind of title, doesn't it? But deep down, doesn't everyone think that a little bit? There's no way the current me, who's not a genius or a superstar or some charismatic, beautiful floating monk, can be happy in this hellish competitive society and this harsh capitalist world. Doesn't everyone think that? Actually, they do. When you say these three things so clearly, you realize that you're resisting. It makes you realize that you have these thoughts. Wait, I do think that way. But is it really telling me this? That's when you want to read it. Wait, this thing is popular, right? But does it have anything to do with me? I already have enough courage to be disliked. That's what people who think that way will think. But when it becomes like this, you think, wait, I want to read it. There's no way someone like me can be happy in this world. Wait, what is this? Why? Why can people change? Bam! That's where it gets interesting. Suddenly, it says, trauma doesn't exist. Wait! There is trauma. Everyone has painful experiences, right? That time was so hard, I still remember it. My parents said this to me when I was in elementary school. My teacher said this to me. That annoying classmate said that to me. My boss at work said that to me. That shock is why I'm still suffering like this. Everyone has that, right? It denies that. But each of those three principles, 1, people can change, 2, the world is simple, 3, everyone can be happy, has a reason behind it. Trauma doesn't exist. Therefore, people can change. The idea that people can't change because of trauma is precisely Freud's theory. This theory is called causality in this explanation. What's the cause? The past is the cause of the present. That's the logic of psychology. So, in short, it's like, I have issues with my parents, so I can't open my heart to people, right? You often hear that. Or, I was dumped by my boyfriend violently, so I can't trust men anymore. Those stories are about denying the present with trauma as the cause, with the past as the cause. It's easy to understand, right? But Adler denies that. He says, what's the point? What's the meaning of that psychology? It's like you have a cold, a fever, a cough, and a runny nose. You go to the doctor and they say, don't worry, it's not your fault. It's because you caught a cold virus 3 days ago. That's why you have a runny nose, fever, and cough. Now, go home. What? They're only talking about the cause. It doesn't solve anything. Plus, they're making you feel like a virus got in, so there's nothing I can do. What kind of improvement is that? They say, that's fundamentally wrong. What I mean is, trauma doesn't exist. You're actually using trauma. They say that. Huh? A prank? What do you mean? I'm comfortable as I am, so I'm blaming the past. A girl with blushing issues. She says, I have blushing issues. I want to fix it. My face turns red when I get nervous. So, she's asked, what do you want to do if you don't have blushing issues? She says, I have a crush on someone. If I didn't have blushing issues, I'd want to confess. I want to tell them how I feel. Adler sees right through it. It's not that. You're keeping yourself in a state where you can't confess because of your blushing issues. You're using that as a reason, because if you didn't have blushing issues, you could confess, but you might get rejected. That's a big risk, a terror. You're protecting yourself from that. My dad was against it, so I didn't become a comedian. That's why I'm working at this company I don't like. My dad has always been like that. He's told me what to do. He's controlled me, so I'm working at this company. Wait a minute. Isn't it that if you had become a comedian, you might not have been successful? You're afraid of that, so you're not challenging yourself and blaming your dad. That's what they say. It hits you hard. I thought, wow. It's not just trauma, but also anger and inferiority complexes that you're using as tools. I spilled tea. A waitress spilled tea on me. Hey, compensate me. You spilled Coke all over my white shirt. What's going on? I got angry. But they say, are you saying you can't control your anger? Anger is uncontrollable. They say, anger is uncontrollable. Everyone says that. There are times like that, right? Times when you say things without thinking. You know you shouldn't say it, but you say it anyway. You're not saying it's uncontrollable. Then the philosopher says, if you had a knife, would you have stabbed the waitress? Huh? I don't think so. Why? You can control it that much, right? For example, isn't there a time when a mother and daughter are fighting? What is it? What's wrong? Don't mess with me. What are you calling me, old woman? Then the daughter leaves the house. Then the phone rings. It's on her phone. She thinks it's her daughter, so the mother answers angrily. She doesn't look at the name and says, what? Because she's sure it's her daughter. She forgot something. What? What is it? Then they say, this is the school teacher. Then you say, oh, I'm sorry. You thought anger was uncontrollable, but when you realize the target is different, you can suppress it. That's right. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, it was my senior's car. There are times like that. So, in the end, everything is a tool. Trauma, anger, inferiority complexes, you're all using them as tools. So, that's not the cause. When they say that, you think, what is that? Maybe that's true. Yeah, maybe that's true, but when you say that, it feels like you're saying it's my fault. You're saying it's because I'm weak. There's no dream or hope. Are you saying I'm weak? No, I'm not. That's why it's important to have the courage to change. Adler isn't a psychology that comforts you by saying you can't change. It's a psychology that gives you courage and pushes you to change. I see. I feel like I can change. I really thought that when I read this. Oh, that person is like this. What people tend to do in these situations is to say always or everyone. That's right. When I'm telling my heroic stories, everyone always denies me by saying, if it's not comedy, it's not art. But that's not true. When I really think about it, even the senior comedians have said, that's really funny. But I just wanted to say that because my heroic stories were being denied. When the comedians saw me starting on YouTube, they would always say, What's this YouTube thing? Let's work hard on TV. But recently they've said, I've been watching your YouTube channel. It's really funny. I was trying to produce myself and polishing my excuses to justify myself with everyone, always, anger, inferiority complexes, and trauma. I thought, oh, I see. From that point on, I thought, this is a good explanation. Maybe we've been using trauma, inferiority complexes, and anger to our advantage. Good. Keep telling me more. Then it gets interesting again. Why? Because most things aren't your responsibility. That's what it says. It's not your problem, so the world is simple. There's a famous quote that comes up. Bam! The most important phrase is that all problems are relationship issues. All problems? I thought there were a variety of issues. Relationship issues are one thing, but today is for relationship issues. Today is for other issues. The world is complex, right? But it's not like that. They're all relationship issues. It's all about how you solve it.